Welcome back to the program, friend. I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I have been losing my voice, protesting, doing some really crazy stuff with, among other people, Terrisa Bukovinac. Terrisa, I don't even know what to say. This woman is on a different planet, a different plane. You're an atheist.
That's right.
I'm sorry, we can work on that.
We're on the same planet.
It's a different cosmos. No, it's not that either. So you're the founder and director of, say it for me, San Francisco?
Pro-life San Francisco.
All right, so right off the bat, I'm thinking, she's in the jaws of hell. She doesn't believe in hell, and she opened up a pro-life organization there to
confront abortion extremism in the most pro-abortion city in America and possibly the world. It is the Atlanta of the Civil War on the abortion issue. It is the place where the abortion industry feels the safest. It is where they conceptualize most of their pro-abortion extremist policy, and it's where they persecute David Daleiden.
Right, we're going to come back to that. Tell me about the university there and their experimenting.
Yeah, the University of California, San Francisco is the most politically active medical institution on the issue of abortion worldwide. And they are the leading abortion trainer in the US and likely the world. So they train all of the Planned Parenthood doctors, and they are very involved in fetal tissue research. In order to do that research, they can't use feticides. So that means they're doing fully live dismemberments and medical inductions on viable late-term fetuses on a monthly basis to supply over to their labs for projects like humanizing a mouse.
How do we know this? How do we know these facts to be true?
Well, these are NIH-funded research projects, so they are documented for anyone to see. There are 120 fetal tissue research programs happening across the country right now. Most of those are modeled after UCSF projects.
Wow. God save me. God save our country. God forgive us. So, when did you start? And why? What got you stirred up?
In the pro-life movement? Well, I mean, righteous indignation. I'm very upset about the fact that we dismember pain-capable late-term fetuses, and ultimately that brought me to a life at conception standpoint. But it was really kind of losing my faith, losing this belief in a life after death, or this idea of divine justice that really made me view my life differently. I thought, wow, my life isn't just willed by God. I just happen to not be murdered in my life cycle. And I have a 1 in 4 trillion chance of coming into an existence and having an experience in the universe that's so rare for just about any other creature. And who has the right to take that from me, and why? And I just kind of went down that rabbit hole of that question. And ultimately I landed on the idea that it is the same to take an unborn life as it is to take a born life. That there is no moral
ethical difference.
Distinction.
Yep.
Correct.
Excellent. All kidding aside, with a last name like you have, you're from Croatia, Slovenia, where are you from?
Well, I'm 4th generation American, but my family is Croatian.
So they would have been Orthodox?
I imagine Catholic.
Okay. And when did you start to drift away from your faith?
Well, I grew up in a more Protestant Christian faith, but not until my early adulthood. I was very involved in my church not growing up, but in my early adulthood. I was on the board of evangelicals for a prominent Lutheran church, and I just, at some point, I was mostly confronted with the problem of evil, just this idea that all these horrible things are happening in the world, and if there's a God and they know about all of these horrible things that are going to happen. And
why does he allow it?
That was probably the first major hurdle that I just couldn't get over. But as time went on, I had more questions that apologists would answer, but not to my satisfaction. And ultimately, I found myself just waking up one day, going through the motions, trying to make it fit, but it didn't. And
did you ever say, "I don't believe in you anymore"?
You know, I don't remember. It's been probably,
as opposed to "I don't believe in him." Like a farewell prayer. I don't believe in you anymore.
You know, there is a bit of a feeling of that. I mean, it's a devastating thing to go through, losing your faith. And if no one's, for your listeners and those watching, you know, many haven't experienced a deconversion, and how difficult it can be to, you know, to talk about these things with your family and friends, to lose your faith community, and to, of course, lose this idea that, you know, you're loved by God no matter what you do. Those are hard things to lose, this idea of being able to see your loved ones after you die. Deconverting is painful for a lot of people.
Are you open to reconverting?
I think it's important to always be open-minded. I'm not so arrogant to think that I'm absolutely right about everything. I mean, I like to think that I am.
That's noble of you, lass. Oh, look at her. She's knowing that she might not be right about a thing or two.
Exactly. But I mean, it's like, you know who you are and what you believe inside, and when you wake up in the morning, and if you're saying, I believe, but you know you don't inside, then that's inconsistent.
I have been through many crises of faith personally and have changed denominations because of it.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's been very difficult for
Yeah.
me. And I have had situations where I railed against God. When my dad died, I said, all you had to do, because he choked to death on his own vomit while he was sleeping. All God had to do was have an angel nudge him. Just nudge him. Just roll him over. 90-degree turn. He'd have puked. He'd have been fine. And I was so enraged. And it was just horrible. But one thing, it may or may not have any impact or be a part of your journey, but because of your Lutheran upbringing and the Lutheran influence, which has Martin Luther, as you know, wrote Bondage of the Will and did not believe in free will. And that has been a part of my journey and a part of where I started to get really, I don't know about that, Calvinism, Lutheranism, where everything is predestined by God. I think that is bullcrap. I think it is absolute bullcrap. God gives us free will, and the sovereignty of God. These are my words. No theologian taught me this, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But I came to the conclusion that the sovereignty of God was not expressed in Him pulling every little string in our lives, but it was expressed in His ability to pull everyone before His judgment seat on the final day and to give an account. So I don't believe in you, I'll do it. Okay, I've given you free will, do whatever you want. And time's up. Come here. No, yeah, yes, there you are. And then that's when the sovereignty of God is expressed in His ability to pull all of us into final judgment. So I could be wrong. For those of you that are better theologians than me, I apologize. But
you heard it from both an atheist and a Christian. We could be wrong.
I could be Randall Terry.
I could be Randall Terry.
I could be the devil. Where's my devil costume? See, that you wonder why I'm wearing red, because we've been running our skit where Joe Biden is beating Jesus and stabbing babies, and I'm playing the devil, and I'm behind him cheering him on. So you will see Terrisa in some of our upcoming shorts that we're doing to try and mobilize Christians and maybe a handful of atheists to vote pro-life, or at least not vote for Joe Biden. It's been a blast hanging out with you all day long.
I've had a great time.
We'll do more stuff over the next couple days.
Great.
Broke the COVID rule, so there. Be right back.